So I started the build of this QCX, and the very first thing you do is install this transformer T1. It's an interesting bit of wiring, but it's not as bad as it seems. The instructions seem quite confusing when you read them initially, but once you get the swing of it, it's fine. Basically, the 38 turns here connect at both sides here, and then there are 3 sets of 5 turns, and again they just go in line with each other, so it's very straightforward. I've done that, and of course it's enamelled wire, so what I did on the other side was, when I soldered it, I just put the soldering iron on and left it there for about 10-12 seconds, and afterwards just tested each pair as I went along for continuity, and that's absolutely fine. So that supposedly is the worst part of the kit done, and I quite enjoyed winding it. It's a long while since I've wound a transformer, and that's come okay. And I've also fitted the socket here for the IC, so that's where I'm up to at the moment. So a little further on than I was before. As you can see, I'd fitted the socket and the transformer initially. Now we've got all the capacitors in, the PA stage here, which is heat sinking via this washer, a trimmer capacitor here, and these 3 multi-turn pots, which are all to do with the alignment stage, which we'll be doing in a little while, and the 2 crystals. I haven't gone for the TXCO for this, which goes in place of that crystal. Whether that's good or not, I'm not sure, but I have no intention of using the whisper beacon on this, so I'm thinking it'll probably be absolutely fine. So there we are, a little bit further, and now to wind some more toroids. And here's the finished main board. Relatively straightforward. Some fun to be had when fitting the sockets and the BNC connecting, getting them straight. But you do have to think about it a little bit, but it's absolutely fine. There's no problem. It works great. Everything goes in as per the instructions. The final toroids were absolutely fine to wind. There will be some movement. I haven't worried about getting these perfect yet, because I will have to adjust them when I go through the alignment procedure. But everything's gone on okay. I've managed not to desolder anything on the other side, and it helps having a decent iron, so you can get plenty of heat when you're soldering parts like this. But it's gone together really well. I'm really pleased. I mean, we'll see what happens obviously when I turn it on, but there we go. Apologies I haven't been able to do a live build on this, but I do rely quite a lot on my magnifying lamp these days, so I wasn't able to really film me actually doing it, but you get the idea, and there's plenty of other videos out there showing live builds. So the next thing to do is to build the controls board. There's the AGC board to go in, which I purchased, which goes in here, and is really quite small. But the manual is absolutely superb. It's very easy to follow, and I'm looking forward to getting this to the stage where I'm starting to align. So presumably once I switch it on and everything works, we can but hope, and see if we let any smoke out. I'll have a bag handy, and I'll see what I can do about doing some live stuff when it comes to the actual alignment. So there we are, main board complete. One of the things you need to check for with these boards is that this controls board will actually fit through this gap. So it's important to clean up all the tabs around the sides. And one of my other hobbies is making plastic models like airfix planes and so on. So I have one or two tools to hand. And what I used for this was just a little sanding sponge. And to get the parts off in the first place, especially a couple of the larger bits, I didn't want to cause any damage to any part. I used my little micro saw, which is really useful for this kind of thing. So between using a pair of pointy pliers, a pair of decent cutters, these are actually rail cutters. If you've ever done any railway modelling, you can cut the actual rails with these. They're good and strong. That was basically it. So I've now got some really nice smooth edges, and that fits through there absolutely beautifully. Just a little bit of information in between all this. You can see my cutting board here that I'm using to build on. And this is after I've taken out the controls board out of its holder and need to sand it away. Always difficult to get rid of little bits like that, especially when it's fiberglass. And can I suggest one of these little things? They're about £6 or £7 on Amazon. Just work on a battery, and there we are, as quickly as that. If you haven't got one, you need one. Okay, so the additional boards are built. This is the display board with its contrast trimmer there. Very straightforward to put together. And this is the controls board with the two buttons, the encoder here, and that is also a button, and that's your volume control. So the next thing I need to do is fit this to this board. So that goes on there like that. And hopefully aligns with this. Yes, it does. I'll just gently knit that up. I've fitted the AGC board that you can hopefully see just down here. So that's been fitted. And now all this needs to go together. So let's try and get it down here, and it needs to go over the controls PCB. And there it goes. So just gently easing it into place, and that's popped out again. So just a matter of getting everything lined up. What's known as a good fit, and there we go, nearly. Now it's popped out again. There we go. Fits like a sock on a chicken's lip. So you can see that this is just slightly raised, just here, above the thing. So that's it, we're together. It's time for the smoke test. Okay, here we are. This is do we let the smoke out time. This is completely live, I haven't done this. I'm just using a battery that I'll be using with this radio out in the field. And I've got my paddle and some headphones plugged in, and I've got a dummy load plugged in the other side. So I'm going to plug it in and switch on the battery. Whoa! Right, there doesn't appear to be any smoke escaping. I did have the bag handy. You notice I can't see anything on the display, so I should be able to adjust this now and see something on the display, he said, hopefully. Oh, would you look at that? That will do nicely. So far, so good. The next bit is going to be the alignment. So here we are, the completed QCX. I've checked it, it's doing about 4 watts at 12 volts, which will do for me. I haven't put it on aerial yet to check the receive, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. I've just set it up a little bit. Just you can see that's pretty slow. So all I need to do is press the select button once and I can change the speed to where I want it to be. That's into a dummy load, as I say, and we're doing about 4 watts. So, very straightforward build. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to putting it on an aerial now and seeing what I can hear and see if I can actually get a QSO on it. What an amazing piece of kit. I've had a couple of QSOs on it, on 40 meters. Obviously it's a 40 meter QSX. Worked one station that I knew was up in the northeast. He gave me 5 and 9. He was on 8 watts. He was 599, no problem. Also heard a G4 working a Japanese station. I could barely hear the Japanese station, but he started to come up and I was able to copy him. I turned on the K3 and switched the aerial across, same aerial, and I was able to hear the Japanese station fractionally better, but it was marginal. The receiver on this thing is unreal. So yeah, I've had a couple of QSOs, absolutely delightful. I still need to find my way around this a little bit, get it set up a bit more. But a great little piece of kit, unbelievable value for money and great fun to build. I do recommend it. If you're thinking of it, just do it. It's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers.